Hey everyone! Welcome to another episode of On the Flip Side. On the first Monday of every month, we do mindset, and it's for entrepreneurs and real estate investors. And every other Monday after that, it's all about real estate. My name is Diana Lizarazo, and today's guest speaker is Jacqueline Francis. Now, before we get started, I want to share some exciting news with you. We have a social networking platform for the real estate investing industry. So if you're a real estate investor, if you're a mentor, or you're a professional, so you are those people that service real estate investors, you want to be a part of this collaborative, supportive, trusting community. You get to see what events are going on. You can be a part of amazing groups. There's a lot that you can get involved in. Now, back to the show. On the flip side, specifically this first Monday, we talk about mindset. So we're going to hear about Jacqueline, what she has to say, and it's going to be on how your beliefs are controlling your life. So if you guys are ready to bring on Jacqueline, let's send her some fire. Oh, did she just disappear on me? Oh no, there we go. I don't know if you saw that. Let me just do it again. Let me just get her on, and then we can get this going. Oops, I don't know what I'm doing right now for some reason. Oh, add. Okay. Oh, it keeps kicking you out. That's strange. Oh, there we go. We managed. We see some
Hello, hello.
We don't see you though. Well, we see your flowers.
Thanks.
There.
Okay, so Instagram was being really interesting just now because I would come on and then it kept kicking me out. So it did this for like a few minutes, and I'm like, uh-oh, am I going to be able to do this? So whatever you did on your end was magical. Thank you.
I'm glad that we were able to get you on because we always have such amazing conversations. And actually, before we get started, we haven't done this in a while. Just share a little bit about yourself, actually. Like, what kind of mentor are you? What kind of real estate investor are you? Anything you'd like to share before we get started?
Yes, amazing. Hi, everyone, and thank you for having me on today, Diana. I'm Jacqueline Francis. I'm your self-image and mindset coach, and I help people understand who they are at their core so they're able to shift into the best versions of themselves. I'm also a real estate investor, and I invest into multifamily apartment buildings. I do a little bit of private lending, and currently I'm into the development space, looking to build a multifamily with the help of all the resources I could possibly have. So let's get started. I'm so excited about our topic today.
Yeah, I think this is a topic that I think is very much needed. We
Yeah.
need all a little bit more depth and understanding. And why not get the expert on to share your insights? So let's start with first just what does that even mean? That how are we being controlled? How are our beliefs controlling our life? Like what does that even mean?
Okay, so first off, let's talk about what a belief is, right? And the definition of a belief is really just a thought that has been running in your mind or replaying in your mind over and over and over again. It's a continuous thought that has formed into something that you now believe because you've made it true for yourself.
I
So,
love that.
what are some examples of a belief? Maybe I'm not good enough. I am not a great cook. I love walking when it's sunny. These are all things that in our lives we have made true for ourselves. And so we live by these beliefs, right?
Or even in the real estate sector, entrepreneurial sense can be like, I can't get a house. That's
Right.
too expensive. You know, I can't go talk to people. I'm too shy,
Oh,
you
that's a
know?
big one. That is a big one that will keep you, what's the word? stuck. Because if you do not know how to get out of your comfort zone, and that is a very strong belief that I also had that myself,
Mhm.
never wanting to talk to somebody when we're going into spaces that require us to network, to share who we are, build connection so we can grow our real estate portfolio.
And you know what's actually another great definition, smaller, but like an add-on that I thought would be amazing. I'd love to hear your point of view. Is also actually I've heard, and I feel like I believe this, is that beliefs are the same as confidence. And when they told me that, I was just like, that to me makes a lot of sense because the stronger your belief is it kind of goes hand in hand with your confidence, right? Because for example, like that, like I am too shy to talk to people. I'm not smart enough to talk to people. You have a lot of confidence in yourself for not being able to do that, right?
Yeah.
Or same thing, or like I'm an amazing speaker. I'm an amazing this. And if you actually believe it in yourself,
Yeah.
right? It's also kind of the same as you have a lot of confidence in that area. You believe what you're saying. What are your
I
thoughts?
love that. Because that can totally work. It's almost like equal to one another, right?
Yeah.
Your confidence will stem from the belief that you have about the thing, about yourself, about the world. So if the confidence isn't there, the belief is very strong, right?
Mhm.
Where you feel really at the end of the day, all of our beliefs are strong because we believe in them, right? We see the world through the lens of these beliefs. And so when you're talking about, hey, I'm not a great public speaker, and that belief is very strong, you have less confidence in your ability to stand up on stage or give a presentation or even do something like this. So I do
Mhm.
love how it can kind of correspond with one another.
Yeah, when I heard that, I thought that was an amazing correlation because
Yes.
it is true, right? Because I felt like it is kind of one is with the other.
Yes.
So that being said, so maybe we could also I ask you the question of where are the different ways that these beliefs can come from or form?
Ooh, yes. So if you don't know, and for anyone who's listening, our beliefs are formed at a very, very young age. Pretty much from 0 to 7. Actually, I heard 3 months 3 months before a baby is due. So in the last trimester, really, beliefs start to be formed. And what happens is like during those 0 to 7 years of our life, we don't have the ability to consciously say no to things. So all we're doing is recording. 0 to 7, you have to figure out because you can't talk, you can't really walk from 0 to 1 or 0 to 1.5. So what are you doing? You're just absorbing the world around you. You're like nature has given us this ability to just record things, to understand family dynamics, to understand when you need to cry, to understand how to say no without actually verbalizing the word no. And then what happens is from 7 onwards, we develop the consciousness, we develop the understanding that if a parent says something to us, it's like we think about it. Oh, yeah, okay, maybe you'll start to like put the pieces together almost, right? But
Yeah.
before
Or
that,
stop being able to question it
yes,
because, like you said, now that consciousness comes in, so you start playing with those boundaries, I think, that you didn't even realize you had.
right. But then from 0 to 7, if a parent has told you or a family member has told you that, stop doing this, every time you do this, you're going to fall, it's going to create a belief that every time I go to take a chance, I'm going to fall. So that carries with us throughout our life. And then it kind of molds and shifts into something that now, as an adult or as somebody that's grown, it doesn't serve us because now it's a program that's been playing all of our lives and we don't even know that it's self-sabotaging us because that program could really be limiting you from moving forward in your life, taking that next big step.
100% completely agree. And it's funny because we don't realize how some of these fundamental beliefs we think that, oh, it's not impacting now because the situation has changed. I've grown as a person. I've done this, that, whatever it is. But when you start diving into those basic fundamental things that that maybe at the moment seems like it's nothing related to
Yeah.
right now, but you start realizing you pile up all those beliefs that you have, and it does form something like in your now, in the life now. So it's very interesting when you think like, oh, something that I said to myself, like, oh, I've gotten over that. And I remember one specifically is being live on social media and stuff. That was a very big thing. I was a very
Yeah.
shy kid. I mean, I'm still shy, but you get better. And I remember I was like, oh yeah, I'm over that. Like I've conquered it. I felt amazing. And then I went through a phase of my life, I'm starting to go bigger now. And then all of a sudden, because that's something for me from my childhood, my shyness building up from, whatever. My parents probably saying like specifically like speak, like she knows how to speak Spanish, speak. I'd be like, what are you doing to me? And I'd be like, go running away,
Yeah.
right? But it's funny because then you think that also you're over these kind of things. Like, oh, I've been doing social media for a long time or doing these lives specifically. Actually, the lives were more bigger to me. But then when you go bigger, especially these more fundamental ones, like this one's a very fundamental one. So I know it seems like every single time I'm going to level up, this is one that will just always be there and I'll have to conquer the new levels. Where there's other, I think, belief systems we have that aren't as strong because they're not, as you said, like when we were such small children that we received it, for example, in our 20s. So it's not as strong as like those when you're like a baby. And so it's also getting to know yourself. I think it's so
Yeah.
important to, realize, or even sometimes you need other people. Like I had someone else tell me, it was basically like, because I was like, no, that's not the problem. I'm like, has to be something else. Because I'm like, I conquered
Yeah.
that like 2, 3 years ago. And I was like, nope, I may have conquered it for that phase, but now I'm in my
Yeah.
comfort zone. Now I'm getting out of my comfort zone. And because that's such a childhood, very small, like
Yeah.
since young, having to deal with that, that's something that I'll probably every phase of growth that I go through is probably always going to be something that will be there for me that I'll just have to again conquer.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing too is like, I mean, we're gonna pick up beliefs all throughout our life, right? If you, like, let's say for real estate, for example, if you hear on the media it's really bad to invest into a real estate deal, right? You're like, that's going to be a belief because now you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I will never invest into real estate because it's just too hard. Too many people have made mistakes on it. And if you've heard that multiple times and you repeated that to yourself multiple times, that formed a belief in you. So let's say the opportunity now came to you when you knew a friend or whatever, however that situation presented itself to actually invest into something that will bring you like multiple profits, your belief is going to stop you because you're going to remember, oh no, it's really not good to invest in real estate. Too many people, and then you're going to generalize, well, I'm that too many people. I'm also not going to have a good experience with it. And then you'll walk away and say sorry when that could have been like the best opportunity of your life.
Mm-hmm. And something basically you're alluding to is once we are aware of that belief, because sometimes we're not, or
A
even,
lot
yeah, once we're
of
aware of
times we're
that
not. A
belief,
lot of times we're not.
but what will happen is you look to prove your beliefs, right? So that's even another thing, which basically you're alluding to, is then you're going to probably be finding out all these other people who have the same belief system as you. And then you may see a couple, obviously, people like able to achieve things that are that you can't, and you will think, oh, they're special. And we
Mhm.
realize, or you start realizing that really it's we just really believe in that limitation
Yeah,
compared, and we're trying to bring people around us that also have that limiting belief to help
100%.
prove ourselves right.
Yes, that's how the mind works. Whether it's positive, empowering, or disempowering, we're always going to, like, the mind is always going to find a way to prove ourselves correct, right? So
Mhm.
this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you know that quote that says, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right? That's exactly it. Because what you choose to believe is what you're going to see in your physical 3D world. No
Mhm.
matter what it is, it's somehow going to show up for you because it's a belief that you hold. It's the truth for you. So until you start to become aware of what is it that you believe in, because another thing that I want to bring up, a lot of our beliefs are adopted. So think about it, from 0 to 7, if you were told that it's not good to eat broccoli, if you were told that every Saturday that you have to clean, if you were told that money is hard to make, whose beliefs are those? They're
Mhm.
not yours.
Mhm.
So it's at this point in your life when you start to become aware that some of the things that are holding you back may be a result of like your own doing. You start to question, is this belief mine? Is it true? How strong
Mhm.
is it? Where did I get it from? Sometimes, it's great to sit down and write that out, but not everybody has the time. But when you are beginning this journey of self-awareness into the beliefs that you hold, it is a great idea to sit down one day, even if it's one or two beliefs that you have on repeat throughout the day, maybe write that down. Oh, why would I say that? Where did that come from? Is it mine? Because a lot of beliefs
Mhm.
aren't ours per se, but
Mhm.
we've accepted them, we've adopted them and made them our own. If that's not what you want to believe, then what would you choose to believe instead? And then
Mhm.
reinforce that.
Mhm. And now that you're talking about that, so what would you recommend to the viewers to be able to increase their belief in an area where they're thinking the opposite? They're giving themselves a limiting belief and they need to get rid of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and then like going back to what you said too, we fight for our limitations. So if we have a belief in
Mhm.
something, we're going to fight for that belief and tell everybody else, no, but da da da, and find all the evidence
Mhm.
to prove that belief is true for us and true for the person
Mhm.
that we're trying to convince, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Because our ego
what?
gets in the way too, actually, that you're saying that, right? Our ego wants to make sure that we are right, and they'll do anything and everything. I mean, that's our mind, right? To make sure that you're saying this, and yes, we want to maintain that. We want to stay in our comfort
Yeah,
zone. So you're
exactly.
gonna give us some tips.
Exactly. So the question was like, how does someone overcome the belief that is disempowering to them? Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, how did the belief? I mean, how did the belief get installed in you in the first place? Because it's a
Mhm.
program, right?
Mhm.
So it's through repetition. It was really because so if we go back from 0 to 7, a lot of those programs were given to you, accepted by you, because you've had like you're recording everything. It's almost like you were in a hypnotic state, right? So all you're doing is accepting all these ideas of how to live in a family, how to act in this world, how to be. So the same way the belief was installed is the same way you have to install a new belief. It's almost like you have to override the old one, starve out the old one with a new one. If we think about a
Mhm.
computer, right? We have the hard drive. And you don't just buy a computer, turn it on, it's going to work, right? A lot of times Microsoft is not installed. And you're like, I'm going to go write an essay. Oh, wait, there's no Microsoft. I've got to install the program, right? It's just like our minds. To rewrite an old belief, we got to install a new one. So repetition. If you are
Mhm.
able to cultivate a belief that you want to empower your life with, create a powerful truth statement around it. I am so capable of doing X, Y, and Z. I am an incredible, powerful, motivational speaker.
Mhm.
You're not going to believe it at first. It's going to be like, no, you're not. You've never done this before. Every time you go up and talk, you're shy, you're scared, you're nervous. So maybe what you can do is put on a pair of headphones at the end of the night and start to use a hypnosis with subliminals that is really helping you, because when you go to sleep and the minute you fall asleep, your brain, your conscious mind shuts off. But your subconscious is still alive and awake and running the show. So this is why they say to people at the end of the night, when you're going to bed, you shouldn't be in a state of anger. You shouldn't be thinking about anything that's worrying you or upsetting you, because you're going into sleep with those thoughts. And it's just creating and finding ways to make that true for you, right? Or creating that in your life. So you find this empowering belief and you put on a hypnosis, you put on a subliminal that is going to just continuously work in the background as you sleep. So when you wake up, like I'm telling you, you're going to feel refreshed. You're going to be like, wait a second, yeah. And you just keep repeating that throughout the day. The more you repeat something to yourself, the more it becomes truth for you. However, I don't know what that timeline is for every single person. For me, it's like a month and a half to really install a really good belief. Other people, it could be 3 months. It's also how deeply ingrained this belief is for you. And the way you'll start to notice that the belief is becoming its actual fact is when you start to feel less nervous about the thing. And you're like, okay, wait a second. I'm going to go to that event and it's okay that I'm by myself. And you're going to go. You may feel a little anxious or a little like, oh, I've never done this before, but you're going to push yourself to go. Whereas maybe 3 months ago, you would have been like, no, not going, can't deal with it. You go, I'm canceling this event. Like that's how you'd be able to tell. What have you done in the past in
I
your life?
For beliefs to be able to change my beliefs,
Yeah.
I think I was going to also add was actually something that recently I've been really trying to work on, and it was before, but for some reason going on vacation actually put me in a funk. And so I've kind of I feel like my mindset is like I'm not starting from base one, but it's like getting back to those routines again. It has been kind of like a focus lately to get back to the routines. But one of the things that I've been actually paying a lot more attention to is when you're saying those affirmations, one is getting emotional about it too. And it's also actually an emotion that I didn't know was really an emotion, and I'm actually cultivating that which is belief, and belief is expectancy. So understanding actually even what that feeling of belief is. So that was something, for example, with me, before a lot in the past, I didn't even know, for example, belief was a feeling, and I never understood it. And so I thought, for example, that, oh, if I'm like a happy person, my beliefs will come. If I'm like excited, that my beliefs will come. And so I've really tried to do these different types of meditations with being happy. Now, being happy is a good start, actually, because you want to be in a positive state, but believing what you're saying. So something that's so important, and that belief for me, it worked out with expectant feeling that I am getting this or that,
Right.
and really feeling in my core that I am going to get my goal of whatever it is. I'm going to go into this meeting with 100% confidence. I will know what I'm talking about, and feeling that within. And so it's very interesting for me. A big shift that happened a few months ago, could have been even further than that, was actually that understanding that being in a happy state is very good. It kind of prepares you, opens you to believe, but belief is a completely different feeling. And understanding what that is very, very important to be able to speak those words into truth. And that's actually even something that I think will help you expedite it. And again, the ways that you will even, like you're saying, like let's say you're saying it's like a month is yours. That's actually really good. I think some people it's like 3 years, 4 years. Something take a lot longer, right? I
Well,
mean, before all of this, I felt like
yeah,
probably technically to be an entrepreneur, I've been wanting to be an entrepreneur since probably elementary school. So my belief system, can you imagine how many years that was
you can
until I
catch
actually
up.
became an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
right?
But at the end of the day, though, it manifested into what you want. I mean, as a child, you had the knowing, like you're talking about a knowingness. So it's one thing to have like a belief, but then that belief translates into like a deep knowingness. So understanding, like what you said, knowing what that feels like in your body. So the expectancy and the knowingness of what you're choosing to believe. So a lot of times when we have disempowering beliefs, it's the knowing that we're not good at the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we speak that with conviction. So to
Mm-hmm.
switch it, you have to do the opposite and have that knowingness, the belief in yourself to get you to, the next stage of your life, to a new relationship, whatever that may look like.
And I would say the persistency is something that I've noticed that happens in my life, and I'm curious if it happens in yours, is that I want something to happen, and I literally get that proof of concept come in within, if not that day, within the next couple days. And then it disappears. And then
Ooh.
I really have to work hard at the belief at that point because I see it come in. I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I want. This is what I want to do. And then obviously my other limiting beliefs come in. It's just like it's just a joke, just a teaser, like it just starts coming in, and then it disappears, and then that work really comes in. I feel that where it's like you have to believe, really maintain, cultivate that belief because it can really, I feel like those proof of concepts, when they come into your life, they can also crush you um, because it came once, gave you that proof of concept, which is supposed to give you confidence. But
Yeah.
if you don't continue to persist, it can
Yeah.
also go in the other direction of it tells you you weren't good enough for
Yeah.
that, right?
Well, these,
And our
well,
mind like to say, you weren't good enough for that. Look, I gave you this opportunity and look what happened.
yeah. So it's being mindful of like the other voices, the other like the disempowering like beliefs, especially when you're trying to work on an empowering one that are going to show up. Because a lot of times when something happens in our life, the initial reaction is our intuition, our love, that like, guidance for yes, do the thing. Oh, of course you can have it. But then the underlying programs start to show up, right? Oh, like you said, oh, you're not good enough. Who do you think you are to have this job? You can't buy this house. You don't even have the money to do, like whatever that is. So it's the persistence in the belief, right? This is where when we talk about goals, people's like these big, crazy goals or C-type goals, as I'm used to calling them, it's the belief and the knowing of your ability to achieve it. But you have to be persistent in pursuing that goal, that idea, that dream. Because if not, anything in your world is going to be able to talk you out of it. So,
Mm-hmm.
how much do you want something? What is your like burning desire behind the thing?
Mm-hmm.
Even to change your life, you have to be bigger than the belief to stay the same.
100%. Which is actually basically what you're talking about. I know you're gonna love to talk about this. Is your imagination is going into that, like you said, that purpose, that thing that moves you forward can have nothing to do with real estate, nothing to do with your business. There's something there that's your higher purpose that you go into your imagination that gets you excited, that pumps you up, that gets you moving forward. And then what happens, whatever that smaller goal that you're trying to work for, that one starts like that one you just start getting much more energized
Yeah.
for, and you start making steps, and then things start coming to you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I should do this, I should do that, I should get moving on this, I should message this person or whatever.
Yeah.
It actually, I feel like that imagination really helps you to actually start moving forward because you start really getting excited. And if
Well,
you're
of course.
not, obviously, like, okay, am I doing the right one? Because I think something that I've also learned in myself is a lot of people say, like, oh, imagine that goal, that smaller goal, or whatever it is goal. But it may not be the right one that incentivizes you to go. And a good example could be like maybe you like love vacationing, you want a vacation, but you're obviously placing a money goal because usually the money goals are easier. Like I need to make $5,000 extra this year because I want to have like this vacation for a week or something. But you start, and then so they sometimes some people tell you like, imagine $5,000 in your bank account, $5,000 in your bank account, but it doesn't really motivate you. You know, you're just
No,
like, I'm
no.
visualizing nothing, but I'm like, I could care less. But if you're like, oh my God, I'm on the beach, look at that beautiful sun coming down, you're just loving the vision, and then all of a sudden, message this person because they're gonna help me
Yes.
do this in my business.
Yeah, because you're using emotion in the visualization. You're feeling as if you are experiencing that in this moment. And the thing about the mind, especially the subconscious mind, it does not know the difference between an imagined experience and a real experience. So the more and vividly you can imagine and visualize something, get all of the feelings. Like, what would it feel like to have that warm sun beating on your body? What would you be wearing? And you really get involved, like emotionally involved with that visualization. You're drawing that experience closer to you. So that's when your subconscious mind, a higher power, goes to create these experiences in your life. So then you start getting the nudges. You start getting the inspired action to call this person, that person. And before you know it, you're living that experience. So by visualizing, you're really stepping into the future and you're getting your body in alignment with what that future is like for you. So that future experience before you actually call it into the present moment. Because
Mhm.
we can say all we want. Oh, I would love to go on vacation, but I'm never going to do it. So we cancel out the understanding, the desire to even have it come to us. But if you can hold your body still and process from mind to body experience what it would feel like to have, even if to have money in the bank, like, what is the feeling associated with even having money, having $5,000? Do you hear somebody saying congratulations? Or are you able to smell it, feel it? What is that? What would it be like if you were to do an e-transfer? Can you imagine and visualize yourself sitting at your computer? So there's a way to even bring up emotions when it comes to money, really just everything. And you're living that future experience before it happens.
Mhm. And it really helps that persistency, I feel. Because if you go to that bigger, higher purpose, that bigger goal that really does excite you, I feel that it helps a lot to be persistent in those smaller day-to-day tasks that you have to get done. What do you think?
I think it's both. It's being persistent in the thoughts and holding the vision. Because there is a chapter in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich all about persistence. And if you're not persistent with the thing that you desire, like I said, like you're gonna have the next thought come in. You're never gonna get that. You're gonna tell somebody, hey, I want to go on vacation 3 times a year. They're gonna be like, no, you're not. I don't get to do that. You're not gonna get to do that. So this idea was given to you. If you want this desire, it is yours. But how persistent are you in holding that thought and being so disciplined with that thought showing up in your world that you're willing to not allow any outside circumstances to influence that decision? So people that want money, for example, you're like, okay, I really want this $5,000 as a bonus or to show up or whatever that's like. But then you're looking in your bank account, you're like, but there's only like, 1,500. How am I gonna, where's that 5,000 gonna come from? And some people are gonna dwell on it. They're gonna like try to figure out in their mind, but we have to understand that the mind is so much greater than what we can even comprehend. The how is
Mhm.
none of our business. We can't sit there and think about the multiple, quadruple, thousand, billions of ways of how something is going to show up to us, for us.
Mhm.
But what's the
Mhm.
feeling? If you desire the $5,000 to show up in your bank account, but you're looking at your bank account, or you have a minimum wage job, and you're like, how the hell is this going to happen? The dominant feeling is going to cancel out the desire because your dominant, your most strong feeling is lack and limitation. So you
Mhm.
have to be bigger than that. So you have to stay persistent in the idea of, okay, I got the nudge. I'm going to go call this person. Every night, every morning, seeing your vision, talking about it, feeling it out. Like it's got to be like your one dedication until it sort of happens.
100% agree. And it's even a good indicator on how that confidence level or that belief is getting stronger. Because if
Yeah.
you're all of a sudden, if someone that either one, like negative people are coming around you and it's not even bothering you, or what usually ends up happening once that belief system is strong, you don't actually find negative people coming around you
Right.
as much. Like all of a sudden they just start disappearing because they see the confidence in
Yeah.
you, and all of a sudden the conversations even with those people start changing because yeah, they just start seeing that confidence in you, and they start seeing you more like, oh, how can I help you, or how can I learn from you, or whatever it is that you're trying to talk to them about. They just start really seeing that faith, and seeing that, again, to me, faith and confidence are one and the same thing, to be honest.
Your energy shifts, right? If we are supposed to be this vibrating being, this force, we're going to then bring the things to us that really hold the same vibration and energy. So when you start to think differently, you will start to bring things into your life that will then support the difference that you're going through. So people no longer align with your new energy, right? You're going to attract the people that are aligned to you. That's why they say, that saying, birds of a feather flock together, because it's just how nature and life work, right? Plants are always planted in one section together. Certain fish always correspond with each fish together. So when you're in a transition of changing your life, you emit a different vibration, you emit a different frequency. So you're going to then be aligned with people on that same frequency.
Mhm. And like that, for actually those people, I guess, that do get nervous about that, because a lot of people struggle again when you're getting out of your comfort zone. Groups of friends
Hold
can
on one
change.
second. I'm so sorry about this. Sorry. I think my phone's going to die. It's
Okay.
giving me, oh,
I'll I'll keep on talking while she goes. But I was saying that, so one thing, oh, I think, yeah, she's gonna disappear, but I'll also finish the point of view, at least on my side. One of the things that I think is so important is that while you're in there and you're seeing those changes happening in yourself, fears can come out. And knowing that it's okay, for example, to change group of friends, and what that means to you, because I know lots of people have hard times with change of friends, change of environments, lots of different things that require people to actually change and evolve. And so finding ways to also make yourself feel better as you're going through those kind of changes is important too. And even that evolves. Like I can tell you that with me, I'm going through some really big changes this year. Some really big things are happening in my life. And something like simple that before I could go to for a massage or go to Scandinav spa and it would relax me. And specifically, like regularly, I would go to for a massage. Massages were not helping me at all anymore. I think, again, as you upgrade in certain ways, even stresses come that maybe now you don't know how, your body just doesn't know how to handle. I remember I was going to like chiropractor or a naturopath, I forget what they're called, osteopath, I think it was, but going to different people to get the support. Massages before I'd go for a massage helped me for 2 days or something, and then it would come back, and then it came to a point where like a couple hours. And then out of nowhere, I guess, because again, I was in a mode like, I need to fix myself. I need to be prepared. Got a lot of stuff going on. I don't have time for the stress that's consuming me. And then what comes to me, I end up going to a gym that has a steam room in it. And that became a huge lifesaver for me. I love going to the steam room because it's something that relaxes me. And it was something new. I mean, I've always known because I'd go to steam rooms, I'd do more of the whole day event thing. But um, but it was something that I never realized in me that it was something that I needed more regularly. And when you level up, certain other things in your life have to level up. Let me just double check if, oh, I feel bad. She's been on here and I don't know how long she's been on here. Let me just get Jacqueline back in here. And then, oh,
Is she? Can I get her back in here? Are you here, Jacqueline? I see you, but I can't add you. I'm not sure what's going on. I think her phone. Yeah, we'll see. But anyways, while we wait for Jacqueline to come back, tell us. Oops. Tell me, what do you guys have? What are some limiting beliefs that you have? Would love to hear what are some limiting beliefs that you had, or even some that you felt that you've been able to conquer, which that could sound like, for example, when you say, "Oh, I was lucky that this happened. I'm lucky that that happened." That's generally an unconsciously you have a belief that you wanted so strongly and that you were able to manifest yourself without even realizing, thinking that it was luck. But at least, and even actually curious, do you even believe in luck? I used to believe in luck. I don't believe in luck anymore. I believe in, oh, let me just get Jacqueline out. I don't believe in luck anymore. I actually believe that I create everything in my life. And let me just get her on. Oh, I think I got her in. There we go. Hey, you're back. We get the good view of the flowers as the first in. I'm back. Oh my gosh. I did not know that was going to happen.
No,
Thank you so much for your patience.
no worries. But yeah, I don't know if you heard some of what I was saying, but I'll quickly recap it to hear your point of views. Was where I was just saying how the fears can really get in the way to getting what you want. And curious, do you have any tips for the viewers on helping them relieve themselves of those fears to be able to push forward in their limiting beliefs?
Yes, work with a coach. They can help you expedite your results, number
It's
one.
so
But if
true.
you're
It's so
looking
true.
to,
It's
if you
funny.
are looking
It's
to
funny, but it's so true.
right? I know. Because they're going to see something greater than you are able to see until you catch up to that belief about yourself, right? Like when you work with a coach, and I've experienced this myself, they're able to see me at my highest. They're able to see me with the desired goal. They're able to see me living the life that I want to live, but I just don't know how to live, or I'm scared to live. So they hold that vision for me, and that collective energy as I go through the process of working with them helps me, like elevates my whole being, transforms my life in a faster pace, shortening the amount of time that you're doing it than if you were to do it by yourself, right?
Mhm.
So that's another topic. But getting back to what you asked me, identify what the fear, because what is fear? Fear really is like when you go to do something and you feel fearful of it, your body, your mind is searching for the experience of doing it in the past. So it's going through your database and it's like, okay, where is it? So now it's not able to find the thing that you want to do. So it's going to create uncertainty. It's going to create a feeling of fear. And how is fear generated? Our subconscious minds have not yet caught up to our conscious minds. Okay? So when I say that, the fear is the primitive, right? This is a primitive experience. So back in the day, when life was happening, when you were faced with a fearful situation, like life or death, and there was a tiger, there was a bear, there was something that was causing you to turn around and run the other way, you go into the state of fear because you have to run away from the thing that's causing the fear. But what's happened is our bodies and our minds have not caught up to the fact that a fearful experience can be speaking in front of the camera, can be speaking our truth. So it hasn't really distinguished between if the fear is for survival instinct, for survival purposes, or for something that's happening in your world that you just don't have an experience that you have to be able to like give it a sense of calmness, to relieve it from feeling this fear. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. It's basically, it sounds like what you're saying is you don't know what you're going into, and that gives you the fears. And so, not thinking that a fear says, stop, don't do it, like you do not want to go there, like you said, run the other way,
Yeah,
taking it in a different view that, oh, I don't know some stuff. What is it that I don't know? Let me go look into it. Let me go talk to people. Let me go do some research. Let me go educate myself so that I
right.
can reduce those fears.
Exactly, because the mind wants to keep us safe, right? That is also one of the primary, like, uh what is the word? Oh, it's not coming to me right now. Like, functions, right? The mind wants to keep us safe, right? That is its job. So if there's anything, especially the subconscious mind, where our programs are built in, where our self-image is built into, our habits, right? It's the habitual mind, and it's very powerful because it's also the mind of creation. So if it wants to keep us safe, and now we're going into an experience that it is not familiar with, it is like, oh my goodness, no, no, no. Why do you want to do that? And it starts to look for all the reasons why you shouldn't do the thing. So this is where we then start, if we don't understand what's happening, we start to fight for the limitations. Oh, I can't go on that roller coaster because it makes me sick, it makes me nauseous, because of da 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 da. I can't go for that job because they'll never pick me, and all of the things. So we then, what do? We limit ourselves. We stay small. But you need to recognize what is happening. Recognize that when you start to fear something, is it because you genuinely truly fear it, like you're scared, like you're it's a life or death situation, or are you just in fear because you've never done it before? And can
100%.
you walk through the fear?
Mm-hmm.
So I have learned a lot from my coach Hina and from Bob Proctor, who has coined this, the when you walk, it's the terror barrier. We get this terror barrier in front of us from moving to the next stage, next level of our life. Can you walk through the terror barrier? The fear may still be there until you've overcome it. But how do you overcome it? By walking through it.
Mm-hmm. And something that my coach actually is really funny. Same thing. I also have a mindset coach, and something when we were having our one-on-ones that I didn't realize that I was doing, and even same thing. I felt like he learned from me, from just I guess the things that I say is when I think it's so true that we do is the really amazing part of having a coach is at least what I do was that I generally use these coaches is actually borrowed confidence. I don't have the
Yeah.
confidence to do this, right? But then I have someone more experienced than me, understanding things. So I had same thing coaches in real estate and I have mindset coach now that I've started level up even more. But I didn't realize that, yeah, what I'm doing is I get a coach because why am I going to start with a level one confidence, stress out, go crazy, trying to do all these things, let's say buy properties and everything, when I can have a coach, bounce all the ideas off them, they're like at a level 10, and now with having it, they're at least pushing me maybe to a level 5, 6, or 7, where
Mhm.
I am feeling a lot more comfortable to be able to take on
Mhm.
these challenges because I have someone behind me that is supporting me and
Yes.
pushing me, helping me move forward. So you don't realize that impact of having someone behind you, how important that is, to have that. So I wanted to also add that because I think like that with anything that you do, it having that coach or that person, that mentor that can just kind of give you that confidence, it's so pivotal because it could be something that either you could never, if you do it on your own, maybe it'll never happen, to maybe taking, let's say, 5, 10 years to getting a coach and getting it done within 6 months to a year type of thing. Like really, it really propels you forward
Mhm.
because beliefs, confidence to me is the same thing. and they just help you enforce those beliefs. Because again, you're following their path. So you're kind of
Yeah,
like
and you're
adopting their,
borrowing their confidence from
yeah.
you because they can see that your capability before you can even see it yourself.
Mhm. And you're like borrowing their beliefs because generally you bring people that have already gone through the path that you have. So it's like you're borrowing their beliefs for
Yep.
yourself. So basically,
Yeah.
same thing with borrowing that confidence until you have the confidence to be able to do it.
Think about it like even let's even break it down simpler. Like think about it when, we at all were at some point in our lives in the 9 to 5, right? When you got that job and the beginning when you start a job, you have no idea what to do. You're just learning the system, you're learning the environment, you're learning like just everything. Um, and then what? In the first month, you're just so like nervous about doing anything. But 1 month turns into 2 months, that'll turn into 6 months. By the end of the year, you can confidently do your job. You know the ins and outs of the system, you know the work environment, and you feel good about it, right? It's very similar to anything and everything we want to do that we have not done before.
100%. Jacqueline, thank you so much for coming on. Did you want to give your last few points or share any last information before we get off the call?
Yes, so I want to say to everyone that's listening, if you have a belief that is disempowering and that is stopping you from moving forward in your life, just know that you can change it. Yes, you have the power within yourself to be able to change that belief so you can start to live the life that you want. So you can start to have the things that you desire without fighting for these limitations that have been keeping you where you are day in and day out. Because the only way to change your life is by doing something and being something different.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Love it.
follow me if you want more information, more tips. And if you want to schedule a one-on-one call, let's do it. I would love to hear where you're at and what your desires and goals are so I can be able to help you achieve them.
I love it, Jacqueline. It's always so much fun to chat with you.
Same.
Like she said, you guys want to learn more about Jacqueline, you want her as a mentor. She will be tagged on her. You can also check her out on ReFam. She has her profile in there too. And you can definitely stay on top of her, DM her, and she's always open to anything. And if you guys love what you heard from me and you want to keep on track of my shows and what's going on, or you want to see what's going on in ReFam, definitely follow me too and sign on to ReFam. Jacqueline, thank you so much. It was so much fun
Thank
to chat with
you
you.
so much. Always a pleasure. We have the best convos. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you in the next
Bye.
episode. Bye.